In Betty Friedan's book, The Fountain of Age, there's a chapter called Age as an Adventure. That resonated deeply with me. First of all, we all know that adventures come in different flavors. Some are exhilarating and some, well, kind of messy. But it also flips the script on aging from one of loss of relevance, loss of your role, loss of your status in society, to one of growth, one of freedom of expression, one of creativity, and one shaping your life on your own terms. And I can't think of a better person to explore that subject with than my dear friend Janet Carabelli. So welcome, and I'm really so happy that you were joining us on this, our first podcast. Yay! Okay. So, Janet has been a dear friend of mine, and she is one of my biggest supporters for Sage Collective, and I really appreciate that. But I want to hear a little bit more. This is all about you today.
Oh, wow.
It's all about you. And I want to hear a little bit about your life and the timeline of your life, and then also how it has shaped your perspective.
Well, I mean, for me, the biggest thing was I was 16 when my mom died. And so, I had to grow up really, really fast. I had to start working full time. I didn't go to college then. I went to school at night. By the time I got my master's, I was 40. And so, that whole starting with nothing has just made me appreciate everything. I mean, just everything and that I have now. And I just know that life is precious because I see it go away so quick.
So, and I know that, you and your husband are childhood sweethearts. Yeah. And that has been, that's been sort of a central part of your life. And I want to, relationships are so important as we age. It is, they're attributing that to longevity, having people close in your life. And for you to be able to maintain a very joyful, happy relationship with your husband, I want to learn a little bit more about how that has really influenced you, shaped your lives together, your perspectives.
Yeah. We grew up together. And we both actually wound up needing to work full time from the time we were 16. So we both shared that experience. But in terms of having other relationships and friendships, because we were working so hard and because we had nothing, we spent those first 15, 20 years of our marriage. We were just always together. We didn't have time for other people. We didn't actually have time for fun.
Yeah.
I know
friendships and fun take time.
They do.
When you need to wake up and, do the grind every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, we just were so focused on becoming financially secure that we didn't start pursuing friendships and fun until 20 years into it. But now, gosh, it just feels like maybe we aging backwards because we were so adult, so young.
You adulted very young.
We adulted very young. And now it's kind of like we're teenagers because now we have time. We didn't do the whole high school experience and college experience and dating. And it was grindstone. Now it's
But what's impressive to me about that is the fact that you two stay together. A lot of people, it creates a lot of conflict when you're in the grind. I think between work and kids, that's what, split a lot of couples up if they're not really together and committed. And then, people grow apart. As you age and, people have different values and different priorities, but it sounds like you two really kept it together.
Yeah. I think part of it was getting together kind of at a time of tragedy brought us closer together. And then because we were kind of out of sync with the rest of our age group, we didn't have kids. And most people, their 20s and 30s are spent raising kids and being friends with their kids' parents and meeting friends through their kids. And it's and we don't really have families. So it's kind of at this point in our life, we've made friendships and that's our family. And it is really, really special to us. And I do think it brings a health and a vitality to our relationship.
Also another thing that I've noticed is that you guys are very close. but you're not joined at the hip. Like, you have a very wide assortment of interests and girlfriends that you hang out with, go on trips with, and do a lot of different things. And Jorge as well. I mean, he's had his own interests. I know that he's a wine person and amongst other things. But that you've been able to differentiate yourself, but still stay together and respect each other for that, which I find really, it's unique. I mean, how many people I don't know many people like that, to be honest with you. We always tell, I tell my kids, what do you, in high school, and I think you were encouraged, like, it's never going to last. I think you told me that story.
People said, are you kidding? I mean, I was 16 when I started dating him. He was 17. He was my first and only everything. I was his first and only everything. It's not like on the one hand, it's kind of complicated because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. But on the other hand, it's kind of like we didn't have conflicts in our past or such a set personality. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes when you get married later in life, or it's a second or third marriage, you're kind of set in your ways, and we were wide open.
Yeah.
So maybe that made the difference. And not having kids, honestly, was the right move for us.
Yeah, no, and I understand that. And in the way you did grow up together, because you said you lost your mother when you were 16. So, you're still like, it's like, I almost feel like you started out as friends and like brother and sister type. And then it evolved into, a loving, committed relationship. So that was always the impression that I got. Now, segueing away from that, as a former business owner and a very successful one at that, how is transitioning away from that, being a boss lady, into, the latter part of your life, giving up that formal type work situation to, who and what you are now?
Well, when I owned my own business, and even before that, when I worked for big corporations, I was a workaholic. I lived for my work. I'd leave the house before it was light out, and I'd come home after it was dark. And there was no real off time for me. So the big transition, and sometimes I can't believe it's been 10 years, but I closed my business 10 years ago. And the biggest thing was I was still a workaholic on the inside. And I didn't know how I could measure my satisfaction if there wasn't anything measurable as an achievement. Because like with work, I could say, okay, I brought in this much money, I brought in this many clients, we completed this many projects. When you don't have that structure, it's like, well, how do I figure out who I am and what satisfies me? And to this day, I mean, it's been 10 years. If I'm not productive, I'm kind of like working really hard not to beat myself up about it. It's like, Janet, you don't have a boss. It is a transition.
You're hard on yourself. And I think that a lot of us who move from that more structured type of environment, whether you own your own business or you work for somebody, moving away from that is really difficult. I find myself struggling with that because of the way that we measure success and productivity is based a lot on doing and growing, and it's like you said, it's money, it's clients, it's whatever that's measurable.
And the thing that's kind of been my salvation, so to speak, that I feel like I'm moving through this, and it is that 4 years ago I wound up starting meditating. I started meditating, and we're talking a simple app that's like $70 a year. We're not talking I go to a guru, and it's only 10 to 15 minutes a day. But I looked at the app today, and as of today, I have meditated for 1,511 straight days, and that's just a single session at least. Some days I do more, and the thing is, because there's
days you do more,
something like that. But the thing is that there's always a topic that you're. I have a choice of topics each day, and there's generally ones about self-talk. There's ones about, feeling satisfaction. The biggest one for me is the being present, because otherwise I'm always in my head planning and doing and trying to figure out how to be productive, that it's like I sometimes used to, and I still do, miss out on the actual experience. And so that for me is like experiencing the moment. That's the biggest thing that's I'm doing now.
And it's a process, and we talk about transitions, and we all know that life is just one transition to the other, and it doesn't change when you get older at all, because we're still always transitioning, whether it's you name it. But I think it has been, proven and stated that meditation is one of the single most important things you can do at any point in your life, particularly as you age, because it's been linked to longevity and also not only lifespan, but health span as well. Meditation, I think, is the single most important thing that you can do for your own well-being. So I think that-that's amazing that you've got how many days?
1,511 consecutive.
Okay. All right. So we did the business owner thing, and how you deal with it is through meditation and trying to be present. And I think we all kind of try and pull ourselves away from living through our phones and the apps that are on our phones to living in the present moment and experiencing, the world around us, whether it's the beauty of nature or, being stuck in the middle of the traffic and trying to flee and not cursing out everybody all the time. So do you see aging as an adventure, a scary ride, or a combination of both?
It's kind of a combo, because we've each had wake-up calls in terms of our health, in terms of very, very dear friends our age or younger passing away recently. And it's I just got to say, aging's not for sissies. I mean, I could go into a zillion reasons that aging can be difficult, but I also find that it's very, very, very freeing. I know when I was younger, I was so preoccupied with how others thought of me. I'm very, very image conscious, very, trying not to stand out too much, trying not to blend in too much. And it's I think
it's
the biggest
to not have to worry about that anymore, right?
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
It's amazing. So, You just said it, you are a planner, and I know that about you, which is a very positive thing. I'm a little bit more seasoned kind of a person. I'm a much more spontaneous type person than you are, although I've gotten a little bit better. Actually, I've gotten worse at planning. I used to be more of a planner when I was doing my 9 to 5, and I had my book by my bed, and I was taking notes for the following day and what I had to do and my checklist. And I was a Franklin planner person, if anybody knows what that is, which is hysterical. But anyway, so what plans do you and Jorge have for your future?
Ooh, okay, so to back up a little, travel has always been my passion. My mom, that's all she wanted to do. That was her big dream. And then she got to 47, she'd never been anywhere. So we started traveling back when we had we didn't have 2 cents to rub together. We actually used Frommer's Europe on $5 a day, slept in lumpy mattresses in places with a bathroom down the hall. And our idea of a meal out was we would go to the grocery store in whatever country we were at and bring the food to a park bench and eat it. We picnicked. So as we...
There's a romance to that, right?
There is, but it's as our financial abilities have increased, our trips have become a lot more spectacular, very lavish. So travel is
has always been a part of the plan.
Absolutely,
and part of the plan.
And we just hit our 68th or 69th country on our 7th continent, 6th continent. We have one more continent to go. So the traveling is the big planning we've done, and of course that came along with the financial planning of figuring out how long do we think we're going to live more. how much money do we think we need? What do we want to make sure we leave as a legacy? And so with that came a lot of freedom. It came a lot of freedom of not like second guessing and worrying about it. It's like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, so, it's securing our financial freedom.
Well, yeah.
In a way, because you need that security in order to have the peace of mind. And I think that, money is liberating.
But it's also like we now that we have the freedom of time.
Yes, and now you have
and we currently have good health. Knock something.
Knock on here. We got some.
It's like we go out, we have fun. Every trip we go on, we make friends, or we travel with friends, and so the whole friends and travel thing have really merged together.
Yeah.
So it's and you talked about planning. I mean, we knew going into it that we weren't always going to have the world's best health. Nobody does. Mm-hmm. People's health don't get better.
We know that it's going to decline.
It's going to decline. So we deliberately took our most strenuous trips when we were younger. So we kayaked for 6 days across Alaska. We've done just a lot of very physically strenuous things that honest to goodness, I'm glad we did them then, even on a much lower budget, because I don't know that we could do that.
Yeah.
I'm grateful we did them then.
So also, that's the fun part of the planning, but then there's also the icky part of the planning that is always hard to talk about. And that's, you touched on it when your health, and ability to, move around and do things starts to decline. So, how difficult was that to have that conversation? Because I know I'm in denial. Like I am denial's not just a river in Egypt. So I have a hard time facing that because I was invincible, and I still have a little bit of that in my brain, but I know because, I go to the doctor now, and all of a sudden he's like, well, you got this and this.
Yeah. I mean, I disconnected my dad from life support when I was 22 years old. So from the time I was 22, I have had the most detailed living will I think that exists. We have every freaking detail covered. So yes, that is a very difficult conversation, but our goal, and we've done as much as we can in advance to make sure that we're going to die on our own terms and we're not going to leave a mess and horrible decisions for the people you love to make.
Right. Yeah, that's.
But yes, it's a difficult conversation. What conditions do you want to be kept alive in? What conditions don't you? But the other thing too is having role models who are much older than us, some of whom have very, very good health and others whose health has declined, but we watch how they still get joy out of life, whether it's having, a garden that they don't have to lean down on and that they can do from a chair, or raising kittens or whatever. But there are ways
to find meaning in their.
But they find meaning in their lives, and the meditation helps me find meaning in my life. But having good examples really it's a huge thing for us.
Yeah,
I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it absolutely does. No, I know that a lot of people who think that they've got everything in order and but they don't realize the details that all of a sudden your loved ones are like dealing with grief, and then on top of it they gotta figure out a whole bunch of other stuff. So
well, I will tell you a real simple. It's not simple to do, but it's really nice knowing it's there.
Good.
I told you I have a red file of death. You go to the desk, you go to the right-hand cabinet, the very top one. It's the only red folder, and it says "in case of emergency." It has everything.
Okay, color coding, people. Color coding.
No, but it has everything you would need to know from where things are kept to who's responsible for what.
Passwords.
Yeah,
that's my biggest fear. Is all these pictures I've been taking my whole life. That's the thing, the legacy of photos. I have photo albums from my grandparents and my great-grandparents, but my photos are all on this thing right over here. And I'm more, what are we going to have for future generations to look at and share? I have I call it the wall of ancestors in my office in the house. and it's my mother's side of the family, because I don't have very much from my father's side of the family, of her brothers and sisters, even their grandparents, like my mother's grandparents, who I don't even know who they were because they're from the old country, you know?
Yeah.
So like, another thing that happened, sorry for digressing big time, but it's also it's about instructions, but I also think there's the legacy that we leave behind isn't just like the work that you did or the business that you created. Julianne, my granddaughter, who's here now, Janet just saw her, they came to visit. I did a camping trip and they did a solo, and I had to write, it was requested that people who were close to her write letters to her that she could read while she was on her solo. And I was like, I'm not going to write words of wisdom. She's going to be like, gag me, please, So I decided that I was going to tell her the story about her mom, because I wish I had known more about my mother. And I wish I think she tried to share it with me, and I wasn't interested, but like now I would love to know. And there's a part of that I think is really important. So I only got as far with Justine writing about her. That's my daughter. I got as far as like 3rd or 4th grade. And that was a 3-page letter, and I still left out a lot of stuff. So, yes, I think we need the red file of death for sure. But I think, I love the storytelling and the legacy. Like, your story is powerful, you and Jorge. And I think it's a beautiful story to tell and share. And I think it offers hope and inspiration for so many people. What you've done with your life. I have a great deal of admiration and respect for you, and hey, for sure.
Honest to goodness, we don't have someone really to lead that to.
Yeah, I understand, but
I would just be some stranger somebody might read about.
You would be surprised. I think your stepdaughter.
My niece, who's like our daughter. She would probably
find value in that. Maybe not now, but I bet you futuristically, and she probably knows a lot, but there might be a lot that she doesn't know. Anyway, we digress.
Okay.
So I just wanted to get that in because it's been sort of top of mind for me, and it's kind of one of the things that I'm starting to realize is important. But okay, moving on from that. Janet and I actually met working out. We used to go to the same gym together, although we didn't really know each other then. But during the pandemic, our gym started an online kind of modified CrossFit class. And it turns out Janet and I live blocks away from each other. And we were never friends. And then we started working out together online. So fitness is a very important thing for both of us. And I think we can't emphasize enough. We can't overstate the importance of exercise and working out. It absolutely covers a lot of the evils. Jorge,
I drink plenty of wine.
You're wine
like
collectors. We like eating, and we like drinking, and you guys are major wine collectors. So I think exercise and meditation, if there's 2 takeaways, exercise, meditation,
friends.
3, and the red file of death.
And friends. I mean, there's more, hopefully, to
I know. But exercise and meditation, for sure. There's no doubt about that. So, having said that, as working out, we know is super duper important. I'm pretty disciplined about it, and it's very important to me. But Janet is like a whole other level of committed to like the workout. We are accountable to each other. Like if we're not going to be in class, Lord help you if you don't let everybody know, because they're like, where are you? Are you okay? And we feel strong, and we feel healthy, and we feel vibrant, and all the things that we want because we are sages. And that's the other thing is, as I've aged, it's the whole relevance thing. thing, how we get looked at and maybe sort of kind of thing. I'm offended by that. I'm offended by ageism, because I think, Janet, we're part of the crew of people that are like, breaking that paradigm on, the feeble old, and I feel like our lives are getting even more exciting because we can do whatever the hell we want now.
To me, they are. I mean, to me, part of it is honestly not really caring that much what other people think anymore. Yeah. One of the questions that you had bounced around was, what's my philosophy of life at this point? My favorite expression to describe Jorge and me at this particular point in our life is that we're not everyone's cup of tea, but we're someone's shot of tequila.
I love it. That's the best. That is the best. I love that.
This is a prime time of my life.
So now I'm going to do some little more pointy questions, like, are you afraid of dying?
Not really. I don't have any kind of spiritual beliefs. Please tell me that nobody listening to this podcast is going to send me any religious tracts. But I'm not afraid of dying. I've seen death. I've seen way too much of it, very close. And the truth is, at this point in my life, I have lived a way, way, way more magnificent life than I ever expected. I didn't expect, I don't know what I expected. I kind of expected to just be a housewife. You got to remember, we're born in the 50s.
That's right.
Expected to kind of be a housewife, maybe teach school or something, maybe have a husband who worked for the phone company or something. I never expected to get a master's degree. I never expected to, have executive positions. Certainly never expected to own my own company or travel the world. I really had very low expectations, and then circumstances were such that those expectations were further lowered because I couldn't even feed myself for a while.
I always like to talk about that because it has a lot to do. Some women are very comfortable with aging gracefully, which to me means natural, no plastic surgery. And other people are much more aggressive about managing that. I fall into that latter category than the former. I'd like to know where on the spectrum, how you feel about, all those things.
I mean, yes, my appearance is important to me. I'm totally chicken about anesthesia. I don't think I would ever have a facelift because just the idea of being under anesthesia terrifies me. Yeah. And also, it's like I've seen, I don't know, yes, my appearance is important to me, and my exercising is partly for health and partly to fit into a size 4.
Right.
But,
thank you.
Yes, I get my nails done. I get my hair cut. This part's
not wild Indians. We're not savages here.
I'm not comfortable with that whole route. But that's just me. I think people should do whatever makes them feel comfortable. And I think also my perspective is skewed from, I'm so grateful to be aging. I've way outlived either my parents' lifespans, and it's like, something, and I know so many happy people who are so much older. Being old doesn't scare me. Yeah. And it's not something that I'm trying to avoid. I'm kind of embracing it.
I have the reverse. My family has a lot of longevity, so I have the pressure on the other end. My father's 96. He's still alive. He has a little bit of dementia. And then my mother would probably still be alive if she didn't smoke, and she did not die from smoke-related causes. She was 94. It was other stuff that I'm not going to get into. So now I've got am I going to make it to that? And if I am, I want it to be good, So I'm all about my health, even though, I like to drink good wine and, have fun with my friends, and, I like yummy foods and things like that. But I think that I'm kind of, my mother, my aunt, everybody did plastic surgery, so I'm good with that. If you're doing it for the right reasons for yourself, if you have a low self-image, I don't think that fixes that. But it definitely maybe perks you up a little bit more.
No, you got to do what's right for you.
Exactly.
I mean, this is what's right for me. some of the decisions I probably made much earlier in life. Some people thought I was insane, but everybody has their own, I mean, doesn't have anything to do with appearance. That my brain just went somewhere else. But anyway.
No. I get it. So, any things that we haven't touched on that you wanted to talk about, or as saging, not aging, which is sort of like our little mantra here at Sage Collective. This is a treasure trove of people with knowledge. So for younger generations to disregard the life experiences that we have is a tragedy.
It is. I think the only thing that I would add to the saging versus aging is when my husband and I had our vows renewal a number of years ago, my 80-something-year-old uncle, everybody got a chance to get up and give their life's advice to have a happy marriage. And they had been married at that point like 60 some odd years. And he says, I know that young people don't like to think about old people having sex. But I will tell you that your Aunt Jenny and I, we've done it in campgrounds, we've done it in barns, he said, sex gets better as you age and it keeps you close. And I gotta say, that is a huge part of my happiness, my vitality. We have sex is so much more fun at this age. And I think that that's something that maybe scares younger people as they think, oh gosh, I'm just going to be, I'm not going to have any sex drive. Yeah. No, you have a lot more.
To me, that's the intimacy and people that, that are like our age and even younger that, just like, no, I'm done. I'm like,
seriously?
That's like the joy. That's like the joy. It's the connection. It's the real intimacy that keeps you, and I couldn't agree with you more. Janet. Thank you. And I think that's a good note to end on. So thank y'all. And
thank y'all. Happy orgasms.
Love it. That was perfect.
Okay, good ending.